The Beastmen are Worcester, what could do with some fresh units, and Jailhouse Rocker and Decomposed, Regiment of Renown mod for the Beastmen gives you some more options in the campaign or indeed custom battles. As part of the Regiments of Renown series, this adds 9 units to the Beastmen faction which you can recruit and use in your armies for some extra flavour. All are based off Warhammer lore and of course are just one-off AET units. The stats are shown as accurate as of 7th of April 2019 and are based on vanilla ratings. I don't think they will change much in the future except a few tweaks here and there. Also, there's a complete patch to our Regiments of Renown series for SFO Grimhammer and Boys Will Be Boys. All these units are recruited in a standard way for Beastmen for the buildings you have in your horde, but we'll need to research some tech to unlock them. So with that out of the way, let's get on to our first unit. So beginning with these regiments with the Friedheim inmates, a jacked up Ungor horde. Friedheim is a place near Outdorf in the Reichland province, which housed a hospice for the insane. At some point, it was overrun by Beastmen, and these souls, corrupted by chaos, took to the path of the Beastmen and became Ungors. Coming in at 470 points in custom battle and needing a vitriolic temperament research, these Ungors have a much better stat line for a considerable boost to leadership by 21 points, and adding 8 more melee attack and 4 more defense, giving this unit a more solid base. With the added anti-infantry buff, which gives them a +6 in combat, and a frenzy, they can deal with some decent punishment to everything they hit. A great unit for those fights against Empire, where they can do effective damage with your basic frontline troops. Keep this viable unit away from the elite units and they can go for most chaff units with ease, and give your front line a bit more punch. A viable unit against most factions. Ungor Raiders, a unit based on Ungor Forhorn, a hateful creature and is feared amongst men and beastmen, and caused horrible transgressions on epic scales against the humans as well. Hated by both, he is now an outcast, where he leads a band of units and rampages across the old world. This poison arch unit is 480 points and can be unlocked with a Defied Honour researched. Being the only ranged poison unit the Beastmen have, this unit can provide some viable debuffs to pesky frontline units. Even them poisoned are much weaker in a fight, and even your basic units to make a dent. Team them up with your more elite units and you can really punish the enemy without taking as much damage back. With the traditional vanguard and stalk, you can really set up some nice ambushes and use them to add viable debuffs and some extra damage over your standard raiders. A little bit better in the fight as well, but is their ranged poison attacks, which makes them shine in the battlefield, so keep them protected. Use them against lightly armoured targets, and is a handy unit across all matchups. A ranged poison attack is never a bad thing. The Redmoor Pack. One of the most infamous beastmen, Kazrak, had a pet warhound. Naturally, this nasty little beastie was unusually large for a warhound, so he thought, what's better than one of these nasty doggies? How about an entire pack? So, these 50 units are what he bred, and now take to the battlefield attacking much larger opponents than a normal warhound could take. Coming in at 530 points, so only a bit more compared to the 475 for standard hounds, and on campaign they need the Endless Hunt unlocked. Fast and mobile as their smaller counterparts, these poisonous, very angry dogs can chase down annoying units or even be recharging units straight into the large units. With improved stats across the board, with a large armor piercing damage of 25, with a bonus against the large of 10. They can be used against light cav, but shine combined with a unit of centaurs which can tear even mid-tier cavalry apart. They are flimsy, so keep them with another unit or keep them moving in quick charges in and out, and they will feast on freeing cavalry. A great unit against any cavalry faction, especially with any skirmisher cav on the scene. With the speed and damage output, they can take them down quite quickly. So Bretonia, Wood Elves, Lizardmen, any heavy skirmisher prey, take these to counter them. Nashara Brood. These harpies are surrounded in mystery, but have pinned themselves in a similar way to Wood Elves do, me mocking where they began. At 710, they are 100 more than the standard unit of harpies, and needing a fell ritual unlocked. These angry 80s, or whatever they are, bringing magical attack and armor sundering of -30. With plus 15 melee defense, they are tougher than a standard harpy, but it's their armor sundering skill and their magic attacks which makes them a very handy unit. Got some stubborn dwarves with a silly amount of armor. This unit can give them a quick 10-second debuff, and along with their magic attacks, they can be very effective at swinging a tough fight in your favour. Don't have that melee defense for you though. Yes, it is quite high, but they are still flimsy with their weak armour, so you can be a bit useful with them, but get them out as soon as possible, and they can bounce around the battlefield when needed. Again, a great unit for counteracting skirmishes like the Redmore pack, or send them against artillery to finish them off quickly. With their armour sundering and magical, they are much more flexible than your standard harpies, but if they get attacked by ranged, they are going to disappear. Never keep them still, and switch targets often to get the best out of their debuffs. Shadow Gores. These Gores have lived their lives in the darkest part of the old wood forest. Surrounded by spiders, they have managed to take their weapons of spider poison, and being as black as night, they have developed the ability to blend into the background to keep themselves hidden until they strike. A fantastic unit for that surprise ambush, coming in at 800 points, a good 200 more than your standard, and they need encircling prey in research tree to knock them. Team them up with some standard Ungor Horde to create a surprise damage and dealing menace, debuffing whoever they hit with a small stats boost in every combat stat. Used correctly, they can really give your Vanguard a much more menacing impact. Set them up behind and the enemy won't know what hit them with their high melee attack and good weapon strength. Toxite Hellmounts. Toxite? We'll go with Toxite. Coming from a northern waste or even tougher Centaurs, and these in particular are led by the leader of the Hellmounts, Toxite. He has brought his own personal group of cav and can be hired as mercenaries for anyone who can afford them. These are a serious Centaur unit and a real threat on the battlefield, coming in at 240 more than your standard Centaurs and at 1140 and needing true horn to be researched in campaign. At this price they have a huge combat increase with plus 24 melee attack and 18 defense. With a small boost to leadership, they have a buff called Wine of Wrath. Apparently these are connoisseurs of alcohol and have a weakness to wine. This gives them even more leadership and a huge charge bonus. And if that wasn't enough, they have another buff called Pharmacon, something like that, making them even more resistance. Apparently, alcohol makes you feel less pain. I would not recommend trying this out in real life though. Put this unit with some poisonous warhounds or even the other Regiment of Renown, Sons of Gorse, and you have a scary cav goon squad who can really face up against any single unit of even the most heaviest cavs. Ungir. Part of the Beastmen, but more of an offshoot coming from the frozen wastes of Norska, are a heavy beasticore unit, a ferocious unit and have a particular taste for human flesh. At 1250 cost, a good 250 above your normal bestigores and needing days of wrath in the campaign. With standard stats upgrade across the board with a big increase on the main combat stats, melee tech, defense and weapon strength, with a huge 44 armor piercing, and just to make sure they hang around they have regen. A really tough unit, heavily armoured, with good melee defense make them possible anchor in the middle of a front line. Best though to break the front line and use these to rush straight through and push out onto the heavy armoured units. Pretty much a dwarf's nightmare and any heavy armoured units. As always, charge them in to get them off to a good start with high damage, but also tough enough to hang in there against the most elite of units. A great unit to counter the heavy melee focused armies such as Chaos and Dwarves. The Gibbikin. No foul thing I have ever witnessed is a direct quote of Caragir of the tribe of the Bloodaxe. Tells you everything you need to know about this chaos spawn. Just even more hideous spawn to go in your front line. A standard unit of chaos spawn are not the greatest unit, but this elite unit does give you regen and better defense, and it also hits harder. Seriously lacking in armor piercing, so bring it against races such as Skaven, Bretonia, and 2 Kings and Vampires. An excellent unit to get rid of chaff, send them into the front line and forget about them. They won't break and they are tough to take down. A possible matchup with the previous unit, seeing that they're both so tanky, makes your front line really tough. Bringing an aura which reduces the damage of nearby units. This increases the spawn survival even longer in combat. Golmulf Bone Eaters. Minotaurs. Who doesn't love an angry large cow? And these 8 are some of the nastiest giant cows ever. Yet by Golmulf, they are here to mess up anything with armour. At 1800 points, with a huge 400 more than a standard Minotaur with greater weapons, and needing the Carolingia to be knocked in campaign, they have a small amount of models, but a huge amount of armour. More damage with a big anti-arge bonus of 28. These are cavalry killers. Don't get this unit bogged down in chaff, seeing there's only 8 of them. It is quite possible, even with their huge mass. They also cause terror. Why normal Minotaurs are not as terrifying? It's a fripping huge cow with an even bigger axe charging you. Yet to be fair, the old world are a tough bunch. So if they get bored killing all the cav, charge them into the back and use them as for 80 yards chariots. Keep them moving and string that tail across the front line. And that's from this mod is the RC Regiments of Renown. This mod was created by Jailhouse Rocker and Decomposed. A nice little mod which just adds some more uniqueness to your armies. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.